What a cool video. What an awesome start.
That was amazing. So many familiar faces. We miss all of you so much. We could be here, in person.
Yeah, so I'm Jonathan Bryce.
I'm Mark Collier, and we're going to be your hosts here for the first ever virtual Open Infrastructure Summit.
Yeah, so welcome everyone. The plan for this week originally was to be in Berlin in person, and obviously that's not what we can do this year, but I'm really excited because we've got a great lineup. All of you have submitted so much awesome content. We're coming here together in this virtual format, and I think that it's just going to be a great week.
Yeah, it's incredible. We actually have the largest summit we've ever had in the history of summits, and we have people from more countries, so it's the most diverse summit we've ever had. We have people from over 120 countries. So we want to hear from all of you. We saw a few awesome videos to kick things off, but if you want to record a We Are Open Infra video of your own, we'd love to see you do that. Put it on social media, use the hashtag WeAreOpenInfra, or drop an email to us with your video. We want to see as many of your faces as we can, so please jump in and send us your videos.
Yeah, so you mentioned it was the biggest summit ever, and this is the 10th anniversary of OpenStack. We just had the 22nd OpenStack release. And this year we've been thinking, really how did all of this get started? And if we go back to the beginning, how this started was about an idea. This all started with an idea that there should be open source infrastructure as a service software as we enter this period of time where more than ever we all depend on digital infrastructure for the things that are important in our lives. And that is a thing that I think at the time was a big idea, but we had a very small group that was starting that out. We had about 25 people that really formed up what started back then. And it was about 20,000 lines of code, so almost no software at all. And over time, we had hundreds of community members who joined in, and then it was thousands and then tens of thousands. And together, what we all did is we added more capabilities into more OpenStack projects. And then across the open source ecosystem, we saw projects like Cloud Foundry that started up. We saw Ceph, Open vSwitch. Now we have Kubernetes. And this whole idea of open source infrastructure has become more relevant than ever today.
And what's incredible when you think about what's happening right now, there's just more and more being created. I wouldn't be surprised if this week we see new ideas turn into new communities and start writing new software. And we really believe in creating communities that write software to run in production. And one of the things that we're so excited about is some of the new companies that are actually getting involved right now. In fact, just in the past week, our board of directors met, and we had 4 new companies that applied to become platinum members and were accepted at that board meeting for next year. And that's never happened before in a single year, let alone in a single board meeting. And that's just incredible. We had companies like Ant Group, who has the Alipay platform, which is we'll be hearing more about later today from one of their engineers. We had Facebook Connectivity, we had FiberHome, and Wind River. So that really puts us on an amazing course. And these are the companies that believe in this community-led, open source community building software approach.
So, like Mark said, now we have new communities, we have new companies, we have new technologies, and I think that this is a really exciting time. And one of the things that we are super happy to be able to announce today is that we are announcing the Open Infrastructure Foundation as the successor to the OpenStack Foundation. Cheers!
Cheers! Kompai!
Yeah, this is exciting. This is really great news, and it's something that I think represents where we have gotten to as our community.
Yeah.
And
we are Open Infra.
Yeah,
it's official now.
And so we would love to have done this in Berlin and be able to cheers all together. But we can still do that. We want you to share selfies. Raise a glass of beer or coffee or whatever it is you want to toast us with. And as a community, let's all toast each other and celebrate this together.
And put it on social media and include that hashtag WeAreOpenInfra. Never forget your hashtags, Jonathan.
I know. I'm not the social media maven you are.
Well.
So we keep saying open infrastructure.
Yeah.
What do we mean by open infrastructure?
Good question. So, listen, open infrastructure, the simplest phrase to describe it or the simplest definition is infrastructure built with open source software. But that's a noun kind of definition. That's kind of boring. I think it's much more exciting to think about real users doing real things, action, and putting this into action, putting it into the market. So we're thinking about things like infrastructure for AI, infrastructure for container native apps, infrastructure for edge computing, infrastructure for all these different use cases, fintech. So the list goes on, and we have so many of those users here this week. Many of them are speaking. So when we talk about autonomous driving, we have Volvo. They're going to talk about how they're using Zool. That's a perfect example. We have users like Verizon who are using Starlink X. We're going to be hearing from people that are using Magma to connect the next billion people in the world. So when you think about open infrastructure, don't just think about that boring noun phrase. Think about how we're really building communities to write software to run in production. And that, my friend, is open infrastructure.
So, we've got a lot of awesome content that you highlighted. Many of those sessions are going to be featured in the keynotes, but also throughout the week. A lot of engineers who are here who are going to be talking about their deployments, giving details of how they are doing this in the real world. So this week's going to be great. We've got a discussion box beside every video. You can participate there. And this morning, we want you to drop any questions you have in there. We're going to be answering those live as we get through our speakers, and we'll be bringing some of them on to interact and answer those questions. So lots of ways to participate this week.
Yeah, and when it comes to participation, we want to give you every opportunity to join and help us build the next decade of open infrastructure together. So if you go to openinfra.dev/join, you can find out how to join the different communities, how to join the foundation, how to dig into the software, and how to deploy it. So a lot of different ways to get involved, and that URL will send you down the right path.
Yeah, that next decade of open infrastructure is going to be whatever we decide as a community to make it. So this is a great place to get involved, and really, this is just a starting point. It's really up to you in terms of where this goes and what happens from here.
All right.